What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to break down how I made $300,000 my first year closing for Serge Gatari. I'm not going to leave out any details. I'll tell you the entire story, but super quick, just so you guys know a little bit more about me. I've been in sales at this point for about 3 years now. I closed for Serge for about a year and a half. Then I built my own business, but got my start as a closer, right? Most amount of money I've made in business is $160,000 in 1 month. And the most amount of money that I made in sales in 1 month was $35,000 in commissions, with the first year being $300,000. So how the heck did this happen? Let's get into it. So guys, 4 years ago, I wanted to become an agency owner. It's how I thought I was gonna make money, right? I was like, I'm gonna have to build a marketing agency. It's what I'm gonna do. Well, surprise, surprise, it failed massively. I bought Iman's course. I bought coaching from another person. It didn't work. And then what happened is I came across Serge Gatari's profile 3 years ago by complete accident. Like one of my friends just like mentioned him randomly. And then I looked him up and he had less than 1,000 followers. But I clicked follow because he lived in my city. All right, it's the only reason why I said, fuck it, I'll follow this guy. What happened is throughout time, I kept watching his videos, and I was like, okay, like, I think that this guy's gonna be my last hope. Screw it, I'm gonna pay him and he's gonna become my coach. So I paid him with like the last $2,000 that I had on a payment plan option, and I got in the program. Now, about a month in, I saw him post on his story that he was looking for a remote closer. And I did not know what a remote closer was. I thought like, I'm gonna, just probably be like setting appointments and making like a couple grand a month. But I was getting very, very desperate because at this point, like I was working at Pizza Hut, guys. I was also driving taxi at the airport, and my funds were just being depleted. And I was really obviously starting to hate those jobs. Like I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me because it had been a year that I was just trying to make money online and literally nothing was fucking working. And I felt like extremely embarrassed. So at that point in time, I was like, look, I don't know what this opportunity is. I don't care if I even make $1,000 or $2,000 a month. At least I'll be able to tell myself that I made $1 online, right? So like literally with the lowest expectations ever, guys, I messaged Serge and I was like, hey dude, like what is a closer? Because you guys got to understand that like 3 years ago, this industry was very, very new and there was not much information about it, right? He then told me, hey, a closer is a guy that takes my sales calls for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why would you want to do that? He's like, hey, I'm booking in too many calls. He's like, sure, you know what, I'll give you a shot because you're a client. Because normally, like, this is really funny, but he was charging people to apply to actually, be a setter and then a closer. For me, I didn't have to because obviously I was already a client, but he told me I had to compete with like 10 other people, right? So I remember like we used to have these early morning meetings and there was like 10 to 15 other guys on there. And then I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, fuck, like I have no sales experience. I'm a pretty shitty agency owner because I couldn't really sign any clients. Like, am I gonna make this work? But then I also remember like, for some reason, I just had like this delusional confidence where I was like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up. Like, no, like I'm like not in like an evil, egotistical way, but in a way of like, no, I'm gonna be the guy who gets the role, right? Because it was like 2 or 3 people at most that were gonna get the role. And I was like, look, it's gonna be me. Even though deep down I was like, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get this done. So I kept showing up to the morning meetings. And here's what's funny, right? As time went on, some of these guys just stopped showing up because it was like a 2-week like intense training protocol that he had going on. And I remember like I had gotten, my first call, I didn't really close it. My second call, I didn't close it. And my third call, I closed it. And I was like, wait, like what the fuck just happened, right? Did I just close a deal? And I remember I collected like, it was like 2 or 3K on there and I made like a few $100 in commission, but like, I'll never forget that day, guys. It was October 9, 2021, and it's gonna forever be embedded in my mind for basically eternity because that's the day that my whole life changed. And then remember a few more days went by and I closed 2 more deals. And during that time period, I closed 2 7K PIFs and I was getting 15% commission at that point in time, right? Which I know a lot of companies don't pay, but Serge's company was starting out, so he paid me 15% commission. So I made like, it was like almost $2,000 that day. And I remember, you guys, I just like broke down, I started crying and I was like, is this real? Like, what the hell is happening? Because before this, I tried to work for a year straight with my agency. It didn't work. I, had the worst, minimum wage jobs. Anyone that works in fast food will tell you how hard it is. It's not fun. It's very, very difficult. So I remember at that point, I was like, holy shit, like what's going on? But I also remember I was very, very, very scared because at that point in time, I was like, what if I'm just getting lucky? Like, what if like the leads become harder and harder? Because I had no idea what I was doing. Now, for those of you wondering, like, yo, I don't get it. Like, you're telling me you had no idea what you were doing. How the hell were you closing deals? Like, how are you the best guy on the team of noobs? Well, for me specifically, like, Even though I didn't really have like any sales training, I knew a lot about the agency space because, even though I didn't make money from it, I was trying my hardest to actually understand how it worked. And so whatever sales process I was given, funnily enough, I didn't even follow it because I felt like it was weird just reading those words off of the script that I was given. So I kind of just winged it and it just worked. Even though looking back, I had like a horrible sales process, it just worked. And then I remember, guys, like I entered off the month with like 10K in commissions, which was just like, for me, was just like literally absurd. I was like, what the hell is going on? What's happening? And I remember at that point, I was like, if I can continue to do this, like I've made it. Like I've made it. I remember I was still like a university student at that point in time. And I had literally like left my city, right, guys? I'm based in Montreal, Canada. I'd left Toronto, which is 7 hours away, to also work as a taxi driver at the airport. So I remember like just on the way back, like my drive back, like I was so fucking happy, and I was like, I can go back to my home, I can do this on my own terms, and if this really, really works out, maybe I can even drop out of school, right? And that happened, right? 3 months later, I eventually dropped out of school because I made 10K a month in commissions consistently. And then what ended up happening is, this is again, guys, where I was just super, super, super blessed, because looking back at it in the very beginning stages, the, leads I was getting were very easy because most of them were from organic. And then things started to get a bit harder, but luckily for me, there was a guy that joined the team as a sales team lead, and he ended up coaching me and teaching me the basics, because I was literally just winging it. And then once I learned the basics, my commissions literally doubled. I started making 20 grand a month in commissions. And then, a little bit later than that, 30K a month in commissions. And like literally everything fucking changed for me. And looking back at it, guys, it's like, there's a lot of things that, came to my mind, because I remember thinking like, wait, this is odd. Like, why is it that I'm making so much money right now? Like, I'm not any smarter now. Like, of course, like my habits are better, but like, I'm not necessarily like smarter or wiser than the person I was that was like putting in 10-hour days trying to build a business. So, like, what's really happening, right? And then I realized like, oh, I'm in the right vehicle, right? And this is why, like, look, obviously I'm going to be biased for saying sales is the best way of making money. Some guys are going to tell you it's drop shipping. Some guys is going to tell you it's a service-based business, like a marketing agency. But the reason why I think sales is the best way to make money, especially when you're starting out, is because you're not having to build something of your own, and your success is specifically reliant on your ability to perform without having to worry about everything else, right? And what that means, guys, is like, if you're a remote closer, right? When I was closing for Serge, I did not have to worry about calls being booked on my calendar. I did not have to worry about good quality calls being booked on my calendar either. I did not have to worry about this guy having a bad product, because he had a great product, he had great marketing. All I had to do was show up to my calls and do my damn job. But when I was trying to build a business, I was doing a million other jobs. And then it just clicked. I was like, wait a minute. All I have to do is just get good at this one thing, and I'm gonna always be getting paid, right? Because I remember in the beginning, I was like very, very scared. I was like, fuck, like what if I get fired? Like what if this happens? What if that happens? Like, my entire income is dependent on this. And then over time, I realized like, wait a minute, this is a very big industry. A lot of these companies need very good quality sales reps. They don't have good quality sales reps. And if I can continue to become very good at this one thing, I will never have to worry about making money ever again. And that's exactly what happened, right? And this is why I think that people that are in remote sales, as an example, that make 2, 3, 4, 500K a year, they're not necessarily smarter than any of you watching this. I don't think I'm that smart of a guy, guys. I'm really not. I tried to build my business in the beginning, it didn't work. I spent a year trying to do it, it didn't work. I got pretty shitty grades growing up too, right? But I made 300 grand my first year remote closing. And I think that the reason why that happened is because I was in the right vehicle at the right time. And I simply just took the opportunity. I remember, like, guys, I literally said this in the beginning of this video, going into it, I didn't even know what I was gonna get out of it. I had no idea. I thought it was a low paying job. But in my mind, I was like, look, anything is better than what I'm doing right now, because I just wanna make this work, right? And guys, what happened after that is, a year and a half in, I built my business, right, where we train and place sales reps. And within 3 months after that, I started making $50,000 per month. And my biggest ever month with this business was about 100K. And with my other business combined, in September, we did $160,000, which is insane. But I think that all of this happened because I got very, very good at sales. Building a business is very, very expensive. I did not have much money starting out. When I quit closing a year and a half in, I had made a couple hundred grand. So for me, it was not a decision of like, damn, like, if this doesn't work, I'm screwed. It was like, no, I'm going to make this work eventually because I had a very large nest egg to actually utilize. All right. And for anyone that's watching this, maybe you're like a business owner who's just really, really struggling, right? Maybe you try to build a marketing agency, you've tried Amazon FBA, you've tried drop shipping, or maybe you're someone who's just trying to get, into making money online. I highly encourage every single one of you watching this to get into remote sales. Because if you get good at that one thing, which is just hopping on calls and talking to people, you're not going to fail. And look, I'm not trying to oversimplify it. Of course, it's not going to be that easy, but at the very least, you're going to have one main focus. I think that the biggest reason that a lot of people also fail when it comes to making a change and just like learning a new skill set or, building a business specifically is there's just too much to do and they're not really sure what to focus on. But in sales specifically, you're focusing on just one thing, which is communication. You're getting very, very good at hopping on calls, listening, paying attention, and just connecting with people. And the best part about it is that you're selling them something that they already want, right? So the way I say that this is way different than like, selling cars or selling insurance or like, doing door to door is the people that you're speaking with willingly book in a call on their own accord. They want more information about the product that they potentially want to buy. And so your job is simply to give them more information, but to also see if what you're selling even makes sense for them in the first place, right? So you're not having to deal with ridiculous amounts of adversity that you would most likely have to deal with in other industries, right? Like if I'm knocking on a door, right? I don't know who's gonna fucking answer. It could be someone's dog barking at me. It could be someone's mom yelling at me. And also they don't even want me to be there, right? I'm literally forcing my way in, right? If I'm doing like, if I'm selling insurance or if I'm doing cold outbound, right? Same thing. They don't want to fucking talk to me. Or if I'm selling a car, a lot of these guys are obviously gonna be wasting my time, right? I'm gonna be spending most of my day just talking to people that don't really have any intention of buying. And even if they did, it's such a large purchase that they're not gonna realistically make that decision, on the day that I meet them, right? Whereas in this industry specifically, that's not the case because the people that you're talking to are already primed through content, and most likely they're already in a position where they want to make a change. They've probably already been thinking about it for a little bit of time. You're simply just helping them make that final decision, right? That's what sales is, guys. It's just communication. But with that being said, that about summarizes like my whole journey being a remote closer, how I got into it, how it is that I made 300 G's working with Serge Gatari. It was pretty insane, and I'm very, very grateful for him and having met him, because if I didn't, I would not have been in the position that I am right now. Like I could have given up, guys, right? I could have just said, fuck it. I've been trying to run a business for a year. My parents think I'm a dumbass. My friends think I'm a dumbass. This isn't working. And I'll be very, very honest. I was like literally this close to doing it, because like anyone that's watching this that like has been trying to do something for years straight and it hasn't worked, you guys know what I'm fucking talking about. Or honestly, even for a few months. Like anyone that's done that, I have so much respect for you, because it takes a lot of courage, and it's not fucking easy, right? And it hurts when you're like, yo, I'm giving it everything that I have and it's just not working. So guys, like when I tell you I was this close to giving up, I fucking mean it. But I'm so glad that I didn't, because eventually I found something that worked for me. And guys, it always will work out. I promise you, if you continue to stick to it and you just don't stop, as cringe and cliche as that sounds, you will figure it out. But in any case, guys, this video is already running a bit too long. So for any one of you watching this that wants to get into remote sales, like I did, I'm gonna leave a link down below where you guys can book in a call. It's gonna be me, don't worry, I don't have a closer, so it'll be between myself and you, and we'll see if this is something that can actually make sense for you. But with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace out.